Good morning. Good morning. Can we talk just for a second? And then I'm going to put these back in my ears and this back on my face and sleep a little bit more before I take Franklin to basketball camp. But first, Jill texted me a gorgeous picture of eggs and bacon. Jill, I'm so happy for you. Starting your day like that. Jill is on a journey of aiming to solve some serious migraine issues. I suspect this way of helping, this way of eating, this way of helping will help. There's no such thing as skipping breakfast. Okay? You with me? Breakfast means to break the fast. There's different times we can do that. Typical Americans like to wake up and eat breakfast, quote unquote breakfast, to start their day. And then lunch midday, and then dinner in the evening. And a lot of us snack all day long. I did it for years. I used food, sugar, flour to keep me going and going and going and going and going and going. I have college degrees and lots of kids. 5 last time I counted. But breakfast means to break the fast. When we sleep all night long, we fast. When we wake up in the morning, we might be hungry and eat. Or we might get rolling and not eat breakfast until 2 p.m. That's probably what I'll do today. It is 7 a.m. I'm not hungry. I'm feeling pretty good. I ate a big, huge meal yesterday. I ate 2 hard-boiled eggs while I was out with Clara to give me a little energy to get me back home. That was about noon. When I got home, about 2:30, I put a giant sirloin. I thought it was one giant sirloin. I was cracking up. I stuffed that thing down in my air fryer at about 2:30, but it was going to take so long that I went ahead and put a bunch of leftover ground beef in a skillet with a bunch of chopped up bacon in it. I burnt that to a crisp and ate that as like an appetizer. Then I ate a bunch of liver that I had sliced up into these cute little pieces that look like Trident chewing gum. That's a perfect way to describe that. Little pieces of Trident. In fact, liver kind of seems cheese-ish to me. Maybe gum-ish, like the consistency. Gum's not a good analogy because it's not like you have to keep chewing it, but the consistency, it's not stringy. It's not hard to bite through like some muscle meats. Anyways, I put that in a bunch of bacon grease. These were my appetizer, while my one giant, I'll show you pictures because I was texting this to Susan, Jill, Karen, Darlene. I was laughing about this sirloin that I was about to eat. So this sirloin, I put it in the air fryer for 15 minutes and then I flipped it for another 15 minutes. This thing is huge. I thought I better not eat this whole thing or I will get myself in some gastrointestinal, I'll just mess my stomach up. Plus, I had already eaten all the ground beef, the bacon, the liver, the bacon grease. You know, I like to, when I eat, I tell my kids, I'll show you another picture here in a second. I like to tell my kids, let's get up to a 6, 7, 8, or 9. 0 is starving, 10 is uncomfortably stuffed. Let's get to a 6, 7, 8, or 9, and then let's go. Let's get out of here. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When you have kids and you feed them, nobody wants to hear them say they're hungry 10 minutes later. Not mine. I'm like, eat meat, keep eating meat. Just keep eating meat. Don't choke. Keep eating meat. Eat that meat. You're doing good. Keep eating meat. Are you at a 6? Are you at a 7? Let's fill up. Let's get to a 6, 7, 8, or 9 on the scale from starving to stuffed, and then go for hours. I flipped that sirloin over, did another 15 minutes. It was looking good, crispy on both sides. And when I stuck a fork in it to pull it out, it came apart. It was 2 sirloins. So the outside was crispy on both sides. The inside was rare on both sides. So I pulled it out and put it in my cast iron skillet for a minute. I ate a huge, delicious meal at about 2:30 and then took a nice big nap like a lioness. In the middle of the day, by late last night, a couple pieces of bacon and I was good. When I crave sugar, I eat bacon. When I crave cheese, I eat bacon. 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 So I'm not starving. I'm going to get up here in a minute. I might not even have time to snooze more. Get rolling. Get everybody going. And I will eat breakfast. But it might be 2 o'clock this afternoon. Here's my point. We don't skip breakfast. We fast and then we break it. And let me encourage you, do not break your fast with sugar. Just like when you've been in a dark room. Okay. Just like when you've been in a dark room. Does that sound like the start of a kid's scary story? Just like when you've been in a dark room, your eyes are going to have an exaggerated response to light. So you've been in a really, really, really dark room, and then somebody opens the door, shines a light in your eyes. Ow! It would almost hurt. Okay? You'd have an exaggerated response to that light. But if the good Lord let the sun come up again and it starts coming in the window and the room gets lighter and the day gets lighter and it's gradual, it doesn't hurt. You don't have an exaggerated response. Your eyes can gradually adjust to the light. When you break the fast with sugar, your body has an exaggerated response to insulin and it says, whoa, we haven't gotten anything. Our hormones got to level back out, the leptin, the cortisol, the ghrelin. All of it, everything's so nice and calm and cool. And then all of a sudden, what in the world is that? A banana, apple, grains, milk? Milk has lactose, milk has sugar. When we start the day, and don't even get me started on Pop-Tarts, donuts, Nutri-Grain bars, smoothies, protein shakes, last night's leftover birthday cake. Am I right? When we start the day with sugar, whether it's simple or complex carbohydrates, we're going to have an exaggerated insulin response. When our insulin is spiked, we cannot burn fat. We're in fat storage mode. When our insulin is spiked, our insulin's like a little taxi cab taking all that sugar from what we just ate and putting it in our bloodstream. It's a little taxi. It carries it around, gets it where it needs to go. We have to have insulin. Anybody with diabetes knows, and I don't know much about diabetes, but I know enough to know that you might have too much or too little insulin, and it's very serious. It's very important. And our bodies are doing nothing but trying to help us not kill ourselves. Can you imagine how often our bodies roll their eyes at us? Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I bet when we're waiting in line at Walmart, they're talking to bodies next to them like, get a load of this girl. Listen to what she makes me do. She makes me process so much garbage all day long. And then hates me. Think about that. The things we ask of our bodies, and then we look in the mirror and hate them. That's ridiculous. I love my body, and I'm so grateful for all it does for me. And actually, that's not true. I love the creator of my body, and I'm so grateful for all he allows me to wake up and do every day. Be careful. Let me encourage you. When, not if, you break the fast. I would aim to consume as little sugar as possible throughout the whole day, but at least in the beginning. So there's somewhere to start. If you're on this journey of wanting to get back in whack, because you've gotten yourself so out of whack, you've gotten your body so out of whack over the years, like so many of us have done. I get it. I'm an accidental addict. I had no idea that while sugar, that's 8 times more addictive than cocaine, it's also an upper. While it did help me stay up late at night working on 20-page term papers and getting newborn babies to sleep for decades. Yes, it helped me accomplish all those things. I had no idea that there was a real possibility, that there's a reality, that I had no idea that sugar addiction was real. Oh, it's real. And I have neural pathways laid that will always be there. Dry riverbeds that if I wanted to engage in those behaviors again, water would flow in a heartbeat, which is why I love these countdown calendars. They give me 70, 100, 200 days to just stay focused. And what I trust is happening is that while I'm counting down the days and while I'm staying focused on one day at a time and just counting off one day at a time, I trust that my body's transforming. And I trust that the Holy Spirit's doing a work in me, that after these 70, 100, 200 days, I'll be a new person. My body will have regenerated cells, literally. And I will have experienced healing that will allow me to, at the end of these definitive, it's not indefinite, these are finite periods of time. And at the end of them, I'll be in better shape than I was. I'll have more, I'll have things headed in a better direction. I'll be in better habits, and I will have more internal and intrinsic motivation to keep going because I will see and feel the amazing results. And that's where the motivation truly comes in, when you see and feel results. And they don't happen right away. Sometimes it takes 200, 100, or 70 days, or 30 days, or 7 days, or 24 hours to see or notice results. Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for good news, for results. Be awake and aware as you set out on this journey. And if you can, share. Do it up underneath my videos if you want, but I highly recommend get somebody in your real everyday life to share the good news with, so that you're aware of it, so that you're not just writing and rewriting the same old sob story on your brain. In July, we're going to talk about lies. There, I just gave it away. July. What lies are we believing? That things aren't changing. Things will never change. This is the same old thing. I'm stuck. No, we're not. No, we're not. But we have to be awake and aware to realize we're unstuck. So Darlene, Karen, and I have committed to sharing praise reports with each other because it's very, very, very important. That's my Carnivore number 11, I think, where I said I had no intention of making this public, where I tell Darlene and Karen, it's very important that we're aware of the progress that's being made. Start to notice it. It's like when you want to change your kids or your behaviors, your kids or your students' behavior. Start catching them doing the right thing. Point it out. Reinforce that. These are starving and feeding behaviors. We want to starve the behaviors we don't want. We don't want to give them any attention. Sometimes we have to. Sometimes we actually have to address things. But a lot of times we can just ignore that and start to reinforce new behaviors. Notice. Take note, and then go a step further and share. Write it in a journal. Share it with a notebook if you have to. But share, start to notice that things are headed in the right direction. It's very exciting, and it's ultimately extremely motivating. I'm no doctor, but I do watch doctors on YouTube. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. I'm not a doctor, but I listen to them on YouTube. There's much debate about breakfast, whether or not we should eat it, whether or not we should fast. We're all fasting. Some for 10 minutes at a time. Well, it's not actually that much, but when we sleep at night, we fast. And then when we finally eat again, we break that fast. There's no such thing as skipping breakfast. You don't have to eat breakfast first thing in the morning. Eat when you're hungry. Do not, please, let me encourage you. Holy moly, this brain of mine. And the unlearning I'm having to do after decades of trying to lose weight. Oh my goodness. About 50 years ago, we started really getting things screwed up. As far as food and fat being the enemy and red meat being the enemy and hunger being the enemy. Hunger is not the enemy. Hunger is extremely important, and when babies don't have it, it's called failure to thrive. Let's thrive. So please let me encourage you. Do not aim to mitigate hunger. Don't let that be your goal. Don't let mitigating hunger be the goal. Trying to make hunger less, trying to make hunger go away, trying to drink water all day long like I did for years, trying to find ways to snack or keep myself busy or earn 1,200 tallies to avoid the temptation of eating because I was hungry all the time when I was eating so many carbohydrates. I'm not hungry all the time now, but I do get very hungry a couple times a day, and I eat delicious, crispy, salty meat, and it's delicious, and it's so good. And I told Jill there's no donut on earth that's better than salty, crispy, fatty meat. Break the fast when you feel good and hungry. Some days that might be 6 a.m. because of what you did the day before, or what you didn't do the day before, or how much sleep you got. It's very, very, very complex. There's so many factors. Don't be scared of hunger. Embrace it. There's no lion on the planet that feels hungry, sees meat, and says, "No thanks. I'm going to deny this hunger." And then what? That lion is going to binge on junk food later. You and I both know it. Eat when you're hungry. Some days that'll be 6 a.m. Some days that'll be 2 p.m. And eat until you're good and full. And then trust me, you won't even think about eating again for a while, unless you're still tangled up in too much variety. Because, and I listen to Kelly Hogan on this, and Kelly, I cannot agree more. A good litmus test for hungry is, am I hungry for beef? I don't have to be very hungry to dip pork rinds in sour cream. I don't have to be very hungry to melt cheese and eat it, or grab a handful of shredded cheddar. I don't have to be very hungry to enjoy the casein, the casomorphin out of the dairy. I don't have to be very hungry to enjoy the crisp crunchiness of pork rinds. All of that lights my brain up, and that has nothing to do with gut hunger. That's a brain issue. That is a pleasure center issue. That's an addiction to binge eating. That's not hunger. That's not hunger. That's not hunger. Hunger is when salty, fatty meat sounds amazing. Like Dr. I think his name is Chaffee. I don't know. You know who I'm talking about. I just sent Jill a bunch of his videos yesterday. He doesn't wear a shirt very often. Pretty tan. He's got some abs. He's a doctor. He's a neurosurgeon. He's just like smart guy. He said, in the beginning of his journey, he tried to control hunger. He wasn't eating enough because he didn't realize what true hunger was. You're not hungry anymore when delicious steak no longer tastes good, where you're like, I'm good. I'm sure even lions eating a gazelle get to the point where like, I'm good. All right, you kids can have it. I've had my fill, and now I can go take a nap or just get on with the day for several hours before I'm hungry again. Let's don't mitigate hunger. Hunger is very important. And I promise you, when you get off all the carbohydrate, when you get off all the carbs, all the sugar, and I'm not telling everybody to get off all the carbs. Y'all do what works, right? If it works, it works. But once you get off all the sugar and you're not blocking your leptin, which tells us we're full, and you're not in the habit of binging at night, which just complicates matters with ghrelin, you can trust your body to tell you when you're hungry and when you've had enough. And like I said in a video yesterday, my 270 day video, you can definitely trust your body to tell you when you've had too much fat, because your body's going to help you regulate things. Once you quit kicking it while it's down, or shooting yourself in the foot, or complicating matters with all the sugar, your body can't communicate with you very well. It's just doing all it can do to process all that poison when we stuff ourselves with all that poison. So, there's no such thing as skipping breakfast. And when we finally break the fast, whenever that is, let me encourage you. Like I said, if you're not going all day long, I'm on day 52 of absolutely no carbohydrates, which means 52 days of absolutely zero sugar. I haven't had a grape, an apple, a banana, a piece of broccoli, a potato. Zero sugar for 52 days. Maybe you're not ready to do that. Maybe you have no desire to do that. That's fine. I got a lot going on around here. I need to do what works for me so that I can work. And I want to work. But if you're not ready to cut out sugar all day long, at least don't start your day with it. That's my encouragement to you. Don't have an exaggerated insulin response first thing in the morning. There's a lot of relearning to do, and we can do it. I love you dearly. We'll talk again soon. And at this point, no time for this. No more sleeping. I'm going to get up, play a couple good songs. I'll link them below, whatever I play to make this bed. Let's see, I'll tell you right now. I'll play Same Power by Jeremy Camp. The same power that rose Jesus from the dead, the same power that commands the dead to raise, lives in us. 1 Corinthians 6:19. Do you not know that you're a temple of the Holy Spirit? You are not your own. You were bought with a price. Jesus, we commit the crimes. He paid the price. That's something to be grateful for, and nothing we can earn. That's the gospel. It's a free gift for you. Let me offer you the gospel. Jesus loves you, and he wants more for you than what this world has to offer. I'm going to get up, make my bed to Same Power. That'll be linked below. I might put a couple other things. Yep, I know. I'm going to add some pictures here. I'm going to show you my lunch yesterday that was 2 steaks, not 1. I'm going to show you Jill's breakfast and my response to her. Enjoy food. Enjoy eating. Enjoy meat. Enjoy salt. That's important. I can't tell you how much you need or don't need because I'm not a doctor, and I'm definitely not your doctor. But enjoy eating. Make the most of hunger. And remember, without hunger, we're in trouble. Let's thrive. I love you dearly. We'll talk again soon. Bye.